moshpitpassion, for the passion of the music.
Okay, I'm Toby from Moshpit. I introduced myself yet, but I said it once more. We're from Germany and located in Essen. We have talked about your fantastic show in the little club Don't Panic, where you have climbed the up to the roof and had a very, very good show there. Okay, we will record this, cut it together, and put it on YouTube. And you can do what you want with it. Yes. Okay. Thank you for your time. Let's talk about your new album. I think, it's no surprise. It will be released on this Friday. So, okay, tell us, what can we accept from this album? What is it about lyrically, musically? Give us some impressions.
I mean, with this album, we're not trying to do anything too different to what we were doing on the debut, but the important thing is that everything we do, we did better. So
Okay.
I think the songs are better, lyrics, the production, the aesthetics of the whole album. We just stepped everything up a notch, and every band says that about their new album, but I think with this being our second release, it really, really is evident. We've got a couple of new members in the band, and I think we've improved so much, being out on the road, played over 100 shows, shared the stage with so many legendary bands, and it's really all, evident on this new album. So don't expect anything too different, but expect it better.
Yes, okay. Yeah, I've heard I've listened to it a couple of times because we have made a review too for it, and we gave it on Moshpit Passion 8 out of 10 points. So we were very impressed. I love it. My favorites are Midnight Blitz for of course, but also Barren Lands and Seas of Red and Eulogy. I don't know the real expression. And these three songs I love most. But what are your favorites? What are your favorites? Do you have a favorite song on? What do you want to tell us?
I think one for me it's my favorite. It's probably not the best song on the album, but a favorite for me is Night Raids. I've always, since we've had that song, I've always loved it, and it was one of the first, I think, as well.
Yeah, that was the first song that I wrote for this way back in 2021, which is crazy. I don't really have one favorite, but I'm really proud of Barren Lands and Seas of Red, and I have to say Dead Until Dark as well, because it was musically very easy to write, lyrically very difficult. I think it's a different song for us. I think it's so direct and so focused and something a little different. So I'm really proud of that track.
Let's talk about the lyrics. It was on the first album too, but this time it is again. It's a common thread running through the album. It's the war theme, I think. But is it? Why is it the war theme? Is it because you have a lot? You want to express a lot of this theme, or who has the idea to do these war themes this time?
Well, I think for heavy metal and with a band name like Tailgunner, kind of lends itself to that dark, destructive kind of thing. But we also have songs that aren't about war on this album. Tears and Rain is inspired by the Blade Runner film, which is classic, and specifically the end monologue. Do machines have feelings, or is AI a living thing or not? And Eulogy is kind of different as well. It's about Tom wrote that one, so you could expand on that.
Yeah, there's only one song on the record, as far as I'm concerned, that's actually about war, which is Lands and Seas of Red. That is about the First World War. I think there's other songs that work as double entendres that maybe people think are about war but aren't. Like Midnight Blitz, for example, is not about the Blitz. That's about us as a band. We are the Midnight Blitz. It's about being a heavy metal fan in this day and age. It's about our fan base. It's about that experience of being a metalhead. You know, I didn't write War in Heaven. Craig wrote the lyrics, but I think of that as something more personal and more emotional than a literal, dog fight or something. I think that has more depth to it. So there's only really one song about war, but we've been branded as this kind of band that sings about war. So we'll take it because war lends itself so well, as Craig says, to heavy metal lyricism. But I think there's a lot in the subject where you use war as a lens to tell stories about human emotions and human struggles and those kind of experiences, rather than a band like Sabaton where they literally sing about it happened here with this guy at this time. We're not that sort of band. So let's see what happens in the future.
Okay. Okay, let's talk about the songwriting progress. How does it work at Tailgunner? Is there some kind of mastermind who writes all the songs, or has everyone ideas and it will be put together?
Yeah, kind of everyone. We'll have ideas and we throw it together, especially with this album, which is different than what we did with the first album. So it was nice to get together in groups and get ideas down, sit around a table and record demos and fly ideas off of each other. And then we'd further develop them songs in our own time with like writing lyrics and vocal melodies. And mainly Tom is the main songwriter of the band as well.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. This album was a lot more collaborative than the debut, because I wrote the debut, largely, not entirely by myself, whilst I was putting the band together. Whereas this time we had a settled lineup and we've been out on the road, as I say, and it was definitely a beneficial writing process, I think, for the final result. To work with more of the guys, and for example, with Zach, he wrote nothing on the debut, but this time he has 4 or 5 co-writes and that sort of thing, and he really stepped up, and Craig as well. With Tears in Rain, I wrote the pre-chorus and the chorus lyrics after the music, but I really struggled with the verses, and I think Craig wrote excellent verses on those tracks. So it was definitely more of a collaborative process this time.
Okay. Okay, when we talk about your new album, we must talk about KK Downing, I think, because it was yeah, everywhere we can read about your new album, it was said, okay, it's produced by KK Downing. So please tell us, how did this collaboration come about, and what was different to the production of your first album?
We put out our debut EP, Crash Dive, in December 2022, and someone got it to KK and loved what he heard. We had an email from his manager, who is now our manager, Art, saying, hey guys, KK really loves the band, and he invited us to open for the debut KK's pre-show at his venue here in England, alongside Paul Di'Anno as well, which was, a real great honor for us. And KK said to us the first time we met that he'd been waiting for a band like us to come along from the UK since the early days of Def Leppard, which was an amazing vindication of everything that we're trying to achieve. We stayed in contact. We stayed good friends. We did a UK tour together in the summer of 2024, and the first album was self-produced. This time we knew we wanted to work with a producer, and it wasn't so much about having a big name, but as having someone with the right experience. And we knew that KK co-produced a lot of those classic Judas Priest records. And when we were thinking of who to work with, we found ourselves in this position where, like, well, we're friends with KK. Why don't we just call him and ask? So, I did, and we spent a couple of days back and forth on the phone, and he was into the idea, and thank God, I think it turned out great for us.
Yeah. Okay, and does he also had ideas concrete for the songs, or does he only produced it, or does he say, okay, the song sounds great, but what is with this idea, and puts in some ideas
Yeah,
for the
he'd more
songs?
just advise us on and suggest things of what to do. Never wrote anything, and he'd always get the best out of everyone
Yeah.
who was playing. So if we were tracking guitars, obviously he knows what sounds great on a guitar, and he knows Zach or Rhea could play it better. So it's just getting them takes as perfect as possible. And whether do we actually need this section of a song? Could we done that better? Could we do anything better, really?
He made us think. I would say he made us think twice, but he made us think about 20 times about everything.
And then he'd think about it 20 times as well. Then we'd probably go back to the original.
Yeah, extremely meticulous, you know. But the great thing about working with KK on this album is it's not just lessons that we applied to this new record. It's lessons that we'll carry forward with us for the rest of our career. So it's very cool.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let's talk about the cover. I have the first one. I have two. I don't know if it. We see this. I call him the Skeleton Man, but I think you have a name for him, or what do you call him?
Yeah, we call him Warhead. Like
Warhead.
The song.
Okay.
Yeah, that song is about him.
Okay. And with the idea of him, we invented him. Is it your?
It was
idea?
really a drawing done by my ex, who did a lot of the artwork around the debut album for all of the singles, and I loved this idea of kind of like a pilot that's crashed and been killed and all the rest of it. But it's still partly zombified, and she drew the artwork for Guns for Hire, the single. And she was really responsible for creating this character and giving him one eye, and that's sort of his defining feature. And we just took that idea and ran with it. And years ago, Megadeth released the compilation Warheads on Foreheads. I just thought Warhead's a cool name, so it's stuck, and we're still running with the idea. And let's see how long he'll be there for. Maybe he'll be on every album cover, or maybe this is his final appearance. I mean, we're yet to decide,
Okay, yeah. Let's talk about your touring plans. You've just finished some gigs as support of Hammerfall, and at first, what was it like touring with these so-called power metal veterans? What was it like?
Yeah, they were really good to tour with, really friendly people, which was always nice to have on tour, because sometimes you don't have nice people and you have to spend a whole month with them. But yeah, we were really grateful for the opportunity to tour with Hammerfall and make friends, and they had a great audience as well that we got to play to every night.
Yeah, right. I think it had matched musically.
Yeah,
yeah.
It was a big traveling party of Iron Maiden nerds, basically. That's all we spoke about.
When you have One Wish Free, with which band do you want to tour?
There's many, really.
Many, okay.
We've been very lucky, I think, with all of the legendary bands that we've got to share a stage with so far. I mean, we've just announced dates with Accept. I'm really looking forward to that. It's one of my favorite bands. But, all of the obvious ones, we'd love to open for Maiden, Priest, Guns N' Roses, AC/DC. Halloween would be a real great one for us. So Scorpions, or all of the ones you can think of, probably.
Okay.
We wouldn't say no.
In February, you will support Fozzy for some gigs in England, Wales, and Scotland. For the summer, there will be a lot of festival gigs and so on. But do you have additional plans for some kind of headlining shows in Germany or Europe, or was it for autumn, for example?
There are things in the works for headline shows, but they're not going to be for a while. We'll tour this new record, Midnight Blitz, for a good while. Probably, there'll be more shows than there were on Guns for Hire, and there was a lot of shows on Guns for Hire. So 100% there will be headline shows in the UK and Europe, but right now the idea is to build the band as much as possible, to play as many support tours and festivals as we possibly can and increase the audience. So we'll probably play headline shows towards the end of this album cycle. But in terms of this year, there is a huge tour booked that we're going to announce very soon. And I think people in Germany will be very, very happy. So, keep an eye out for that. We'll give them plenty of shows.
That sounds good. You'll be releasing the new album in many vinyl versions on CDs, bundle, and something like this. I gather from this, I gather from this that physical record sales are very important to you. Is it so? And are you vinyl collectors too?
Me, not. I'm not much of a vinyl collector, to be honest. Not really, but it is important to us that people buy physical and t-shirts and merchandise. Streaming helps a little bit, but it's like nothing in comparison to physical album sales.
I collect vinyl. I'm a real big fan of that as a format. I think as an old school heavy metal style band, we have to put out vinyl, really.
Yeah. Okay, Tom, you're the so-called former of Tailgunner. Please tell us, what have you reached till now with your band, and which and what are your plans and visions for the future after this album? What should come?
There's so much left that we have to say, so much left that we want to do and achieve, and I think that's really great, because some bands put out one album and that's it. They've said all they have to say, but I feel like there's so much left in the tank for us. And a career in music is not a sprint; it is a marathon, and it's about climbing the mountain with little steps all of the time, just consistent little steps all the way up to the top. And I'm very proud of the fact that we're not a flavor of the week style band. We're not chasing something like that people think is popular at the moment. We do our own thing. And that was the whole point of this band, was to put together the band that we always wanted to be in, that we were always waiting to come along from Britain as kids and never really did. And, I think that's why we enjoy it so much. That's why there's so much gas in the tank, so to speak, because we didn't form this to be popular. We formed it to do something that we love. And the fact that it's going as well as it is, I think really is because we love what we do so much and we're not faking it. So we're very happy with everything that's happened in the last 4 years, and long may it continue,
Okay, let's come shortly to an end. Some short personal questions to the end for both of you. What is your favorite song or album you are listening to right now? Not Tailgunner.
It's always a difficult one. And for songs anyway, there's favorite song changes all the time. But I'd say a favorite album that's always stuck out for me, I know it's a controversial one and many people don't like it, as Iron Maiden's A Matter of Life and Death. I just think it's a perfect album from start to finish, and it's a lot darker than all the rest of the other Maiden albums.
For me, in terms of Tailgunner and what we do, my favorite heavy metal album of all time is Maiden's Somewhere in Time. That for me is just perfection, and it's a little bit more depthful, I think, than anything they'd done to that point. A little less raw, a little more expansive. I'm obsessed with the guitar tones on that record. And that's always in heavy rotation for me since I discovered that album. It's sort of like a cornerstone of what I listen to. I've been obsessed recently with something totally left field, but a band from Chicago called Bridget Calls Me Baby. They put out the best debut album I've heard in many years. So, I think a lot of people that will listen to us will be like, what the fuck is he on about? But, if I'm being honest, that's what I've been obsessed with recently. They're an amazing band.
And do you have time or to visit concerts for yourself? And when it's so, what was your last where you were the visitor of?
God, I think the last gig for me was Maiden's Run for Your Lives tour. I went to the Birmingham show. And we don't really get a lot of chance to go out and see gigs because we're touring all the time. And one of the gigs I was looking forward to this year was Maiden's Nebworth show, and we might not actually be able to get there because we've got a gig the day before.
I'm fully intending to still be at Nebworth if we can, because I have a ticket. Yeah,
we'll try.
We play in Spain, and if we can fly back the same night or the next morning, then hopefully we can get there, because I didn't see the Run for Your Lives tour, and I'd really like to. But the great thing is, I think, about touring, we end up seeing a lot of bands that we would never see and gigs that we would never go to otherwise. I think of, Area 53 Festival in Austria last year. I wanted to see Lordi for a long time. I'm a big fan of that band. I never get to see them. And we played the same day on the same stage as them. So, I got to finish our show, do a signing session, grab a beer, and then go out the front and watch Lordi. And, that was a really cool experience. So at least we get to see, some bands that we'd never otherwise see. We share a lineup with Guns N' Roses this year, and so we'll get to see them for free, which is, very, very cool.
Yeah, I think so. Yes. Okay, and so I think what was your first contact as a child or young man to heavy metal? Was it Iron Maiden, or was it another metal or rock band? What was the first rock metal song or album you have?
Yeah. For me, I think it was one of my cousins showed me Run to the Hills, Number of the Beast, and then after that I was just hooked.
Okay, yeah.
For me, it was AC/DC. I watched the film School of Rock in school, and I came home with the riff to Smoke on the Water stuck in my head. I had no idea what it was. I didn't know what a riff was or anything, but I was humming it, and my dad said, if you like that riff, maybe you'll like this. And he sat me down with AC/DC's Back in Black album. And as soon as Brian Johnson started to sing on Hell's Bells, it totally changed my life, and I've never looked back. But the first gig I ever went to was Iron Maiden. So, of course, there's a huge Maiden influence in this band.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I come to an end now. I've any questions asked? So, okay, thank you for your time. I hope I will see you on one of your live shows in Germany, I think. I don't know if I can get it, because the festivals you will visit, you will be, I have no time. So I hope for a little headlining show in autumn or winter. So to see you live.
We'll be in Germany in autumn and winter, so there'll hopefully be some opportunity. There's some stuff out, so
very good.
Yeah, great to see you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. All the best, and we will see us.
Thanks, Toby.
Thank you very much.
Moshpit passion, for the passion of music.